Had to figure out ways of making this dramatic cantilevered space hurricane-proof.
They have this 30-foot cantilever that goes all the way out into the ocean, and there's no column even holding it up.
Cantilevered glass and the cantilevered roof lines are dramatic, but they allow the light to come into the space, and they allow the views to come in as well.
Sitting in the living room, you have these incredibly dramatic and inspiring walls of glass that you're looking out at the ocean. Isn't that really why you're going to the beach?
There's no shortage of inspiration when our countdown continues with our top 4 sublime living rooms next.
February brings all that's fantastic and fabulous. Australian artist Jeff Martin travels and unravels world's best restaurants, drawing inspiration for his craft.
They're artists as well. They're putting food on a plate.
Get up close and personal with fashion icon Karl Lagerfeld as he draws out his illustrious life from childhood to adult years. Must-see celebrity rides. Tour A-listers' hot homes on wheels, decked with lavish luxuries and amazing amenities.
Oh, you got a full-on studio on this bus.
Sweetness returns for a new season as Britain's eclectic chocolatiers whip out new creations to satisfy your sweet tooth.
I like selling chocolate, but best of all, I like eating it.
February brims with imagination and inspiration.
We like to go above and beyond.
Exclusively on LI. Life inspired.
New York, New York. 12 designers reaching for the stars.
It's just that simple.
It's crazy. Oh my God.
I'm gonna nail this thing.
With host Danica Ray and star mentor David Bromstad.
Your challenge starts now.
HGTV Design Star, Friday, 10 p.m. Only on LI, Life Inspired.
Ordinary people, moved by ideas, driven by change. Each a journey of their own, realizing their perfect dream, their perfect space. From places of business and urban homes to charming houses out in the country. Space Project, Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. Exclusively on LI, Life Inspired.
We're counting down the continent's most sublime living rooms, and we're moments from heading to our top 4. After visiting an outside-in house in Palm Springs, a calm composition in the Hamptons, and a beach house that hangs in midair. Spectacular, yes, but what we found in Malibu truly deserves the number 4 position by opening itself wide to the oceanfront vista.
This room is just, it's meow. It's so open and airy and lofty and modern.
Everything about this room maximizes the view so that the furniture is neutral, the wall tones are neutral, everything is very low. The whole room feels like low slung.
That horizontality relates to the view beyond and emphasizes and frames the view of the Pacific Ocean.
The swath of gold resin through the ceiling just carries your eye through the space, and it's not a very high ceiling, it's not a vaulted ceiling, and yet it lifts and it lightens the room.
What you have is a massive slab, and the slab then is completely opened and opens up, and all the sliding doors open up, and it's glazed. So you have a tendency that the building, the architecture, is floating on the ground floor.
The room's low ceiling, curved walls, and resin light fixture frame the view of the world outside, while furnishings inside live in perfect harmony.
The living room has a very tight, very specific design to it. It's very low living. A lot of the pieces are very low.
The furniture and the architecture kind of merge into one.
It's
It's a very minimally furnished place. And when you furnish a place minimally, each gesture has to be perfect.
A lot of people have never really lived in spaces like this, very, very minimal spaces. But I think that if you remove a little bit from your life, a little bit of clutter and a fewer things, and try to be a bit more minimal and see what it's like to live that way. I'm a big believer that if you live kind of with less, you actually spiritually live with more.
And we've got more, lots more, in fact 3 more. What could be better than framing the view? How about mirroring it? Our number 3 Sublime living room earned its bronze medal by turning chameleon and matching the colors of San Francisco Bay.
There's sort of a very French 18th century color scheme going on here with those gold and red and blue, which is an interesting and improbable complement to the San Francisco skyline of today.
In a funny way, this room teaches you to bring the outside in because of the way the colors have been reflected, you know, from the bridge, from the water, from the grasslands, and brought into the room, and then just very limited to that, but highlighted, I think, with the gilding, which really puts a layer of sophistication.
One forgives the scale of this window in such a traditional room because all you want to do is look at the incredible view.
And the detailing is really kind of a bit from the Belle Epoque period, a kind of French period, and they contrast it with a very, very contemporary window.
As stunning as the traditional furniture is, the star of this room is absolutely what lies on the other side of that window.
It's almost set up like a theater. That sofa, to me, feels like a place you just want to plop onto and then look out at the view like you're in a theater. It's like, instead of watching TV, that's what you want to watch.
The couch is not sitting there facing a television, it's actually facing their vista of the Golden Gate Bridge.
The minute I saw this room, I knew I was in San Francisco. It just shouts good taste.
We thought we found the most sublime living room too, but we crossed the continent one more time to see if we could top it. And did we luck out? We found 2 brilliant living rooms in the Hamptons, making our choice even tougher. Although it's faultless, something had to be number 2. This contemporary looker took the runner-up position by deftly adopting different periods and styles in the most subtle of ways.
This light-filled living room really is an eclectic combination of styles. There's some traditional elements that feel squishy and opulent and Hamptonsy. There's some contemporary things, and there's some real industrial modern references.
There's a feeling of somehow of the 60s when, you know, modernism was at its peak.
I think what stands out to me is a lot of the blackened metal elements, both in the mullions and the staircase, and that creates sort of an industrial modern sense of chic.
And let's not forget this number 2 Sublime living room is a beach house. The designer hasn't.
I was able to use indoor-outdoor fabrics on chairs so people could just plop down and relax on the chairs and not worry that they have suntan oil on, or even though it doesn't look like it's indoor-outdoor fabric.
The open-plan living area is on the 2nd floor of the house, offering sweeping views of the south-facing ocean and north-facing bay. To keep you from being swallowed up from the view, a monumental stone and bronze fireplace anchors the room.
The fireplace functions in about 10 ways. First of all, it's a piece of sculpture. It's stone, it's metal, it's really beautiful, it's massive, and yet it's very elegant. And it's a room divider, so that you have a fire in the living room, you have a fire in the dining room, and when the fire's out, you still have a beautiful thing to look at.
It's a very masculine selection of materials between the marble, the steel, the metal, the wood.
We're moving from kind of limestone at the fireplace to these kind of leather in the seating to wood in the furniture. There's a very natural feeling that it works and warms up the space in contrast to its purity and its rigorousness.
The stairway's on one side and it's kind of lacy in black metal, and then you've got the heftier architectural black mullions, and then you've got the strip around the fireplace so that you have, the architecture unites the room.
It's a quiet, opulent, lovely place to be.
We couldn't agree more, but we've saved the best for last. Our most sublime living room next. On this episode of Top 10, we've covered the continent to find a living room to make you happy. Our couch surfing has taken us from a Malibu modern that framed its view, to a San Francisco classic that mirrored the bay, to a Southampton beaut that was a muted mix. But none of them put a smile on our face like the most sublime living room we found in Bridgehampton, New York.
Number 1 is the Amy Lau room.
Designer Amy Lau nailed the top spot by using a playful palette and just plain having fun.
Amy Lau is one of my favorite designers, and this living room in Bridgehampton is quintessential Amy. She's all about art, she's about play, is very sophisticated.
This is an extraordinarily optimistic room. It's very happy and probably the cheeriest room I've seen.
I love the colors that she used, the turquoise, the greens. The rug actually keeps on going as an expansive lawn outside.
What's so nice about this room is it's not just that it has a sense of light, it has a sense of levity. From the color scheme, which is very sunny and optimistic, I think that by putting all the furniture up on legs, it creates a feeling of weightlessness that really is a complement to the light-filled space.
It's a really happy springtime summer space to be.
The feeling of this room is very lively and colorful and happy. It's the perfect place when you're at the beach. You just want to kick back, relax, and throw off the flip-flops and have some fun.
Those fun colors live happily on iconic vintage modern furniture, like the Hans Wegner chair and the Ed Wormley sectional. And the classic Kagan swivel chairs do double duty as part of the conversation grouping, or spin them around to check out the view.
Amy Lau is a great designer, and she uses a lot of 1950s and 1960s modernist furniture. She's known for that, and she's a real connoisseur. So I think she creates a great mix of contemporary with vintage modern pieces.
When you have a room like this, which is obviously a dramatic room in itself, you can either upstage it or you can kind of support it. And I think that this room supports it.
I love the way Amy has placed the driftwood sculptures just insouciantly leaning against a wall. And I think a sort of improvisational casualness is a great complement to light. It's beautiful. When I look at all these rooms, that's the one I want to be in, hanging out, taking a nap, reading, and just being happy. That is a beautiful room.
From the Pacific to the Atlantic, we've tested a lot of couches to find the 10 most sublime living rooms, loaded with light, rich with views. All of our top 10 living rooms are designed to make anyone happy.